What's up, guys? Welcome to another Point 5 episode of It's Tough Love. I'm your host, Ryan Dots, here in the Tough Love studio, aka my bedroom. I know I posted last night Mama Dots' episode. Mama Dots was awesome. She did a full hour, and it is incredible stuff. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. I've gotten nothing but great reviews on her. I've gotten horrific reviews on me. That's okay. I can take the hate. Also had a few that day, so... yeah, that was a good episode. She had a lot of good points. I went back and watched it, and she was great. So she'll be a recurring guest because she had a lot to say, and that was awesome. Even though she didn't want to come on at all, and then she ended up doing a whole hour. Trooper, absolute trooper. So I have big news for our show. I have heard back from Bud Light. I emailed them about sponsoring my show. And so now I have a rep. So we have gotten over the first hurdle. So applaud the Tough Love fan base and the Tough Love producers. Me. Because, I mean, that's the overall goal, is to get sponsored by really any alcohol producer that will sponsor my show is more than welcome to come out and do that for me. Tonight, we're wearing the Sammy Adams shirt because, again, said you don't even have to pay me. Just send me stuff to drink on my show. And I will gladly do it. Gladly. For you. Also, I have a shout out to all the fans. The viewership has increased drastically. Shout out to my fans, and I had to write this down because you guys are everywhere. Shout out to the fans in Mass, New York, Maine, Michigan, Florida, California, and our international friends over the waters. Over the pond, whatever. Shout out to all you guys, for those that have reached out, and for those that have watched and all that stuff. You guys are awesome. You guys are the best fans. Also, shout out to everyone that hates the show. I'm fat. I stutter. I'm boring. It's just a dude talking into a camera. That's literally what the show is. So, whatever. I'm working on it. So, basically, also another thing, if you've reached out about being on the show, if you're one of those distance fans, or friends of mine, from outside the state, obviously, you don't plan on being back in Rhode Island, or I'm not coming to your area anytime soon. I'm trying to figure out the Skype thing. I'm only one dude, and for a guy that works in IT, I'm not that advanced, so I'm trying to figure out the whole Skype thing. I'm recording screenshots and sound quality and things like that. So bear with me. If you reached out asking to be on the show, and I said yeah, reach out to me again. Get a date. Figure out what time you can do. Send me a little bit of a schedule. I got some shows lined up, but if I can fit you in on a weekday or anything like that, absolutely. I can provide material. Come with material, because if you want to be on my show, obviously you want to talk about something and you want to contribute. Nobody just wants to be on a show just to be on a show. If you have something that you're passionate about and it even remotely ties into my show, or even if it doesn't, fuck it, who cares? I'm more than willing to talk about it. I'm more than willing to give my advice. I'm more than willing to let you go on a little bit of rant, and I can add on, whatever. We can go back and forth. Just a little bit of context, let me know ahead of time, and that'd be great. If I saw you out and if I saw you out and the sun wasn't up, just assume that I was drunk and I don't remember, or I didn't really take it seriously. Reach out to me again. Reach out and be like, hey, I saw you here, I saw you there, I texted you or something. Send me some dates, and the same applies for you too, because a lot of people reach out, but then they don't follow up, and I'm like, I wonder if they were serious, or if they were messing around, or if they were just excited about the show. I appreciate all the fans, but if you want to be a part of it, yeah, you're more than welcome to come on with any topics that you want to talk about. So it's funny. I had a conversation with my 17-year-old sister. We went to Bentley soccer game. Shout out to Bentley's women's soccer team. I mean, the men's soccer team too. I'm sure they're cool. But my cousin plays for the women's team, so shout out to them. They got that W over Plymouth State? What school was it? Plymouth State? Franklin Pierce. Franklin Pierce, that's right. Shout out to those girls. It was an awesome game. So much fun. Cousin like broke her ankle, which sucks, but you know, sometimes you got to sacrifice. So shout out to them. So we pre-gamed the game, and then I went with my parents. So my mom did an episode. My dad did an episode 2. He's coming out. His birthday is Saturday, so we're gonna do a B-Day episode. I don't know if we'll redo it and I'll just air both, or if, you know, whatever. I don't know. I don't really schedule these things. They just kind of come out. So I had a really interesting conversation with my little sister, Bean, who has her first boyfriend, and I know she's probably really embarrassed right now, but that's okay. She has her first boyfriend, and we were talking about high school relationships and, you know, what they are, what they mean to the person, or what they mean to people, both from from retrospect. For me, you know what? Hang on one second. I feel naked at this point. Like, I feel naked without my hat. So, yeah, basically, in retrospect, what it is, like, what it means to people, and then what it means in 2020 hindsight. So, we had a really good conversation. She was super funny. I can't air any of it because I was talking into the mic like an idiot. And also, it's weird that I'm just talking to a 16-year-old girl, regardless of her being my sister or not. So, she had a really good point, and it lines up a lot with how it was when I went to high school, in the fact that I think I got my first cell phone when I was in 8th grade. But it didn't have texting or anything like that. It was just for emergencies. So the texting game, my freshman through junior year of high school, wasn't that crazy. Like, that's not really how people talked all that much. AIM was huge. What was it? Oh, I can't remember my AIM name. I think it was just Darty 2277. It might have been LIL Darty. That was big then. That was Lil everything. Everything was Lil. Well, all right. I'm a short guy. That counts. So, yeah, AIM was really big. I remember initials and profiles and IOI, like the your anniversary date, which was 2 weeks ago, and then you break up and you're like, oh my god, I hate you so much, Mike, like, fuck you. And it was just this big day. And I think that's what kind of developed us to be, like, at least my generation, to be this such self-absorbed, drama-filled asshole. Like, we're all, there have been points in all of our lives, and if you say that there isn't, you are a liar. You are a liar. Because everyone has been involved with that BS drama, no matter what age you are. You've been a part of it. Some of you, and I see you out there, are still a part of it. You're still playing those games. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, do you, boo-boo. Do you. So she was telling me the difference about talking and dating. So talking is, I guess, just that. So you're in constant communication with somebody, like whether it be through cell phone or passing them in school or something like that. And mind you, she gave me these details after I had already done a show with my mom and my dad and already had a few cold ones. So maybe I'm not telling it right. Maybe we will bring her on for a sober episode, so that I can get the deets. But this is the gist of it. And this goes out to all my listeners who are a little bit older and have high school kids, daughters, sons, whatever. Little life lesson. Maybe you turn the volume up. So, talking is when, I guess, you are in constant communication via cell phone, or do people, do they DM? Do kids DM? They got a DM, right? Yeah, because there's no AIM anymore. That's the new DM. So, that's the new AIM. So, yeah, and then they go out in groups, like a collection of friends. Like, they all go out. And that's funny because dating is when they do the more individual stuff. So like they'll go on like a movie date or they'll go get pizza or whatever, and it'll just be them. And then I guess they'll go out and meet friends after, or they'll meet friends before and then go out later, or I don't know. I didn't get a whole blueprint of it. I'll try to get it, but there were X's and O's. It was like this big orchestrated football play. So she's describing these things to me, and I'm looking at her. She's looking at me. I don't know what she's saying, but it all made sense at the moment, and it was relatable to me just in regards to talking, because that's literally what you did in high school was you had a group of friends like, oh, they're talking. A relationship is blooming. That is the first step to talk. I was like, oh yeah, we talk, she's cool. She's alright. She's cute. To like, oh yeah, like we went out a couple times, whatever. To like, oh yeah, we're dating now. We're together. And then it's like, oh my god, I love him so much. I love him so much. He's so great. He's so amazing. And go back and watch other episodes, and you'll figure out how that turns out. If you watch them in order, you might actually watch an entire relationship. If you start here and then start from the beginning, you might watch an entire relationship blossom through the episodes. That would have been cool, 2020 hindsight. But so she's saying all these things, and it's so funny because you can relate to them, but also it's so different. It's so generational where we didn't really have that. So I was like, it made no sense to me. Also, like, everything's on blast now. Like, everything is on social media, whereas back then it was, MySpace was big. But it was just, your top 8 friends, which caused a shitstorm. I wasn't a popular guy. It didn't really bother me. The only requirement that I had was from my girlfriend at the time. She had to be number 1. And she never was, because it was always Sean O'Mac or Slats. And then it was the girlfriend. And it's still that way today. Not my MySpace page, but my actual life. And then that shitstorm would always be like all fired up. And I just remember, I remember all those fights. It's so great. But hey, my boys. So, but now everything's on social media, like tagging people in locations, where you are, what you're doing, who you're with, memes were never a thing. Like that's crazy too. Showing emotion through a collection of words, that you're too stupid to come up with yourself. Girls, I see you. Throwing a little shade on the show. What are you gonna do? I don't need no man. I appreciate myself. Yeah, we get it. If every chick's a princess, then how come there are so many fucking losers out there? All right, got a little dark there for a second. Let's bring it back. So yeah, maybe we'll have her on the show. Who cares? She'll sign a waiver. There we go. I'm making up my own rules for my own show. Yeah, I actually rewatched Mom's episode or Mama Dots' episode, whatever, and she's my mom. And she had a lot of great things to say. It was actually very, very interesting. It was interesting to learn her history, and the history of my parents, who have been together for 27 years. And they started out, at my age. And I think that I still find that story fascinating. Sorry if it bored you. But anyone that knows me personally knows that I have a very close relationship with my parents. And I love their story, and my dad's my best friend. So, it was really cool to hear their story. It's going to be great to hear John's side, too. His story is funny as shit. So that'll be up there. One thing that I did want to touch on, and it does get a little bit, while it was specific, I think it applies to a lot of people, enough people that I actually do want to bring it up, because people always, for you haters out there that are like, you're so full of shit, I don't see any of the comments on my blog, or your blog, or whatever. People don't post their shit on my site because it's very personal stuff, and like, they do reach out to me personally, to the point I actually posted on Facebook today about changing my cell phone number, because the negative people that reach out to me, it's fine, like, it's not a big deal, but I do have to get my I do only want like certain people, like people that I talk to have my number rather than like all this random stuff. But that's neither here nor there. And it turns out that I can't. Well, I can change it, but it'd kind of be a bitch. And plus, I like to get drunk and text X anyway, so whatever. So, so somebody reached out to me who obviously will remain nameless, and I won't give out any details. But while their story is specific to them, I do think that it actually does reach out to many people out there, whether it be male or female. This person did happen to be female, but that doesn't give anything away. She was telling me about how she'd been dating her boyfriend for over a year, maybe less than 3, somewhere in between there. It'd be a long and invested relationship, and she felt so lost because she had given everything to this relationship. She fully invested in it and really believed that it was going to go somewhere and that it was special and things like that. And she did everything for this kid, from going on trips and bailing him out when he needed to be bailed out, and I mean that both legally and financially and just in any sense of the term. Picking the kid up when he was down and things like that. And she's telling me this, how she doesn't feel appreciated and things like that, but to leave him wouldn't make any sense because, she's so invested. And to be honest, it sounded a lot like there was still hope there. And now I do have a feeling that a lot of my viewers can relate to this scenario. And I think I can speak to it well because I was that kid. I was that dude who had been in a relationship where over X amount of time I didn't appreciate my relationship, and it was always take, and they would continue to give much like she is, and getting nothing in return. Not trips and gifts and things like that, but just the appreciation, the love, and doing the things that show that you care for them helping you. Because there's nothing wrong with needing help once in a while. There's nothing wrong with bailing out your partner, your significant other. But when it becomes a routine thing, and when it becomes something that they depend on, and don't reciprocate and don't show that appreciation, it's time to move on. Now that hope is not actually hope. It is an illusion in your mind where you know, one, how financially invested you are in this relationship, and also how emotionally invested you are in this relationship, and how much time is invested in this relationship. You pair those 3 things with how old you're getting and the standard that society has imposed on our generation, and it is extremely intimidating, and it's unfortunate because we are expected to live by the standards of the generation before us when it's not realistic. And go back and watch my mom's episode because she tells it like it is, and John will next week. Break those social expectations because they don't apply to us. We are our own generation. We are going to live our love life the way that we want to and the way that we feel comfortable doing it. Because not only this woman, but women around the world and men around the world too. There are a lot of men that are, taking care of kids that aren't theirs, or women with, I don't want to name any specific situation, but just they're in that situation where it's eating at them, and they love this person, and they're pressured by society to be, to stay and just expect it to get better. One day they will appreciate me. One day this relationship will be where I want it to be. And that's just not true. That's just not true. It's unfortunate, but in reality, that day is never going to come, and the only reason why you think it is because of that illusion disguised as hope. And the thing that, and I can't tell you what to do, I can't tell you to live your life, I'm just telling you exactly how it is because that's my observation and also my experience. And I would never lie on my show. I don't lie on my show. Well, I don't lie in general anymore because it got me in so much shit. And plus, I'm too old now. I can't keep up with my lies anymore. I find it to be extremely challenging and extremely exhausting. Sorry, I'm very long-winded today. But no, that situation did hit me deep. And I do have some people that reach out in similar situations. And I told it like it was, and while it's not that she didn't appreciate it, I knew it was something that she didn't want to hear, but I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm going to give you that tough love because feeding that illusion, feeding that false hope, will only extend your overall pain, your overall feeling of being lost and not spending your time either looking for the person that's going to treat you the way that you should be treated based on how you explained it. Because you can be an asshole. Like, you can be an asshole. You can be a loser. That's fine if you're with an asshole or a loser, right? Or you could be with somebody who appreciates the shit out of you, and if they're fine doing that, then good luck with that. Like, that's amazing. Like, that's incredible. They're an incredible person. But the vast majority eventually will realize, and they're going to realize, and as time goes on, it gets harder and harder and harder, not only to leave, but to let go of that false hope and that person. And then, fast forward to the point where they may recognize it and things like that, and they're going to try anything to get back with you. They're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear and treat you the way that you want to be treated and things like that. But as I've said on the show before, that'll only last, X amount of time until maybe they go back to their old ways, and then you've done it again, right? And there is that chance where, if they're persistent enough and they do change, then that day will finally come. But what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. You staying in this constant pattern is not going to help you. It is not going to change the result that you're getting. You have to make that change. You have to make that change, and you have to put yourself first when it comes to that scenario. And I don't know, that one hit me in an interesting place, just where I am in my life, and also where I see a lot of people in my generation as well. And you're not the first person to reach out with that scenario, and you certainly won't be the last, because I'm going to point them right to this episode. But you will find somebody out there who appreciates you the way that you deserve to be treated. And even if you don't find another person, you found yourself. You appreciated yourself. You did something for yourself to put you in a better position. And loving yourself is one of the most important things that you could do in a scenario like that. Because not only is he hurting you, but you're hurting you. Sorry, I know that took a turn, but I was talking to a couple people actually, and that infuriates me. That drives me crazy. Not only because I see it all the time, but because I had been a part of it and I had done it too. I've done it a few times, and you have to recognize that. You have to recognize faults in yourself, and that's everybody. You have to look internally. 1, what did I do to cause the problem? 2, what can I do to fix the problem? 3, how can I avoid the problem from ever happening again? That's how you problem solve, right? So we have a lot of great stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm really excited about it. We're about 25 minutes here. Again, shout out to all my fans across the country. You guys are awesome. And if you want to be on my show, reach out at DOTTS27, Instagram and Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm not changing my cell phone number right away, so if you have it, reach out. If you don't, get it from somebody. I have a billion contacts. For one reason or another, I'd make you drunk and shit like that. If I saw you drunk, and you asked to be on my show, or I said you need to be on my show, and you remember the point we were making, reach out to me, please. I would love to have you on. bring whatever point you want, and I'm going to hit you with some fun stuff. I'm not going to lie. I bring my own material when I have my guests, in addition to whatever they want to plug and things like that. So, also, let's all say a prayer for my beer sponsorship. I can't stress it enough. I got to contact my rep. You know, it has to do with viewership and things like that, and you know, popularity. But it's a regional thing. They broke it all down. They broke it down. So I reached out to Bud Light, and they said, "Yeah, we have a guy in New England." I said, "Hell yeah!" So I contacted him. And he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, like absolutely. We're always looking for new opportunities to sponsor." You know, anything, because we contacted them for our men's league team too, but everybody does that. I was like, dude, I have this show, it's picking up steam, you know, I don't want money, just send me a case, like, every week, and we're good to go, it costs you nothing. And they're like, oh yeah, alright, so I'm gonna send them the material, and, send them a couple shows, so, share it with your friends, share it with family members, share it with anyone that you think is down and needs a laugh, or needs a talking to. Old Papa Dots is here, he'll help you out. And that is episode 5.5 of It's Tough Love. Till Saturday.